Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee with theBrendanLee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide. Check the links in the description. In this video, I want to talk to you about principles. And I want to consider some things with you about principles. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about is I want you to consider that there are things that are outside of your control. And I also want you to consider that there are things that are outside of what you think and feel. You see, it's like most of our lives are lived within this world of like perception and then thinking and feeling, as if somehow thinking and feeling like how I feel about something and what I think about something are the end all to what is. And I can prove that wrong by saying like, look, you see how there's objects here? You can't control those, can you? Like you have no direct control over objects and or. No matter what you think or feel, if an object passes through your head and brain, you die. You can't really control that. No thought, no religion, no belief system. Nothing can stop that. See? For example, objects. There's a lot more to the world. Or the fact that there's a planet. Did you build the planet? Are you even aware of building your own body? Isn't it true that you had no control over the fact that you somehow find yourself in a body or that you were born? You see, where's the control? Like, where do you find any willful control in that? Okay? And so, in this consideration, I want you to start noticing that there is indeed stuff that is independent of what you think and feel personally. So now we can recognize that since there is this domain that is outside of what we think and feel, that there's more to the world than what we think and feel. There's more going on. And then it is possible for us to recognize as if what I'm going to call rules or principles of what is occurring, or principles that govern how stuff shows up. So there are principles that govern how stuff shows up. For example, one principle that governs objects, like there's rules. And I just want you to start taking a look at that reality, the reality of these rules or principles, like gravity, for example. Objects are completely dominated by gravity. Like on planet Earth, when you're on a planet, gravity is a thing. Now, nobody had a name for gravity until Isaac Newton as if discovered gravity, but he discovered something that was going on that was non-randomly happening to objects, you see? Your body is completely dominated by gravity. If you jump off a cliff, you fall down. You have no choice about that. Objects have a certain thing going on. You drop them, and like there's an attraction. Like somehow objects are attracted to other objects. It's actually, if you think about it, it's kind of weird because how do objects do that? Have you ever known objects to like stick together? I mean, magnets, you take it for granted, but like who thought of that? Really, that's a little bit strange. In space, it doesn't happen, so something's going on. There's a rule. There's something here, right? So that's an example of a principle that dominates what we call objects. And there are also other principles that have an influence on immaterial things, as if. Like honor, for example, or in the martial arts, leading is another principle, you see. And yes, there are physical components to leading, but it also dominates more than just the physicality. It also dominates the mind. And what I mean by dominates is if you align with the principle, it demands that both your body and mind get on board. Now, gravity seems to operate without mind. For example, we presume that gravity operates whether you are alive or dead. But then there are other principles, like I mentioned earlier from my experience in the martial arts, leading, for example, where you are the target and you understand that, and then you use the fact that you're a target to manipulate the other person. It demands that both your body and your mind and your feeling states, whatever feelings you have, be completely directed toward that effort. So then if that's the case, if your body and your mind and how you feel and all your everything is completely devoted to the principle, then what is a principle? Is it a thought? But how could it be a thought if we just said that your thoughts are also influenced by the principle? Well, then maybe it's a feeling. Well, then how is it a feeling? How is the principle itself a feeling if both your thoughts and your feelings are aligned with the principle? And how is it an object if the object that you control, your body, say you align your body, your thinking, and your feeling, and all of your perceptive faculties are aligned with the principle? So then what's a principle? Because we usually think of a principle as that like it somehow exists somewhere and we could go find it. But where would it exist if all of the stuff I mentioned is what you align to the principle? Stardom makes you wonder. Or for example, when I talk in my martial arts workshops, shameless plug, hey, hit me up. I train people. Gravity, you cannot go by gravity. Where is it? Where is it? Can you go to Walmart, Tesco, Aldi? You gonna pick me up some gravity? Where? All we see is the evidence of gravity. We don't see the gravity itself. There's nothing tangible that is the gravity. We just see the effects of gravity. So then what's the principle? That's my question. That's what I'm poking at you. I want you to consider with me. Like, wait a minute. I want you to have some thoughts that are like, wait a minute. What's going on here? Something's going on. Yeah, that's the whole point of the video. I want you to consider. See? So then what's a principle? So now you can, say for example, you can align with gravity. You can align with principles. And they demand certain outcomes. Like, I believe there's a bridge. I should have read up on this, but there's a bridge somewhere. I think it was designed by Isaac Newton, but his knowledge and understanding of the principle of gravity allowed him to build a bridge that is constructed a very unique way and yet still is strong. Because, and perhaps if you are watching this video and you have more information, please post a link in the description. That'd be useful for everybody and also help generate some comments. That holds up surprisingly well. Why? Because he understands the principle that he's dealing with, I imagine. Right? Or in the martial training that I've done, I've been able to align myself with principles, and certain principles, they demand certain outcomes. This is the point of what I'm trying to say right now, is that aligning with a principle demands a certain outcome. Like if I'm going to align with gravity, for example, and I build a building on an unstable foundation. See, gravity demands an alignment. I'm using gravity as an example. This applies to other principles as well. It demands an alignment, and if I violate the gravity, then gravity will let me know. See, like maybe the building falls down or something, or it is weakened. Same with the body, like if I'm doing some martial stuff and I need to generate power and I don't align my body well, like with the forces that are coming in between the object of my pressure and the ground, for example, like if my knee is bent out of alignment, then again, I am violating that principle, and as if gravity will likely let me know. Either I will lose power or break something, etc. You see, but in either case, the principle doesn't care. It doesn't care if I violate it or not. It just, do you hear gravity put up a fuss if somebody misaligns and they blow their knee out or something like that, and you hear gravity, oh no, my God, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it. No, it doesn't care, you see. Does it care what religion you are? No. Does it care what you think? No. Does it care how you feel? No. As you're going off the cliff and you're feeling upset about that, gravity doesn't bother gravity. See? Okay, body falls. Okay. See? The same applies to the other principles. It's like if you align with a principle, certain results can occur. Like if you align with integrity and honor, you will have integrity as a human being, and you will be an honorable human being. Why? Because that's what those principles demand. There's a story about, I believe it's like Davy Crockett, maybe, who it was the eve of the battle. It was right before a big battle, might have been Alamo, probably Alamo. And somebody was like, well, aren't you going to leave? You can get out now. He's like, well, I would leave, but Davy Crockett won't let me. You see, so that tells me he's aligned with a principle. We call it Davy Crockett. And the main thing here is the principle is bigger than the individual. He's aligned with something that is bigger than him, and it doesn't care about what he thinks and how he feels and his emotional state. It just demands certain results, and that's the power. Okay? Got to change the battery. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I was saying is that the aligning with the principles, in this case, it demands certain results, and the main power and the main thrust of this video, what I wanted to share as I was considering, what other stuff could I give to people that I think would be valuable, is the principles do not care what you think and feel in a sense. They will demand certain thinking. They will demand certain feelings. So in that case, they as if care, but they don't care if you align with them or not. I feel like that wasn't very clear. It's like, if I am to be really good at leading, for example, which is a principle that I can use in martial arts, I could also use in conversation. It's like the power of the target. Then it demands that I think, feel, and act in particular ways that are consistent with that principle. And because of this, then it yields certain results. And that is the power that I want to get across to you is not, the principle is not about you. It's as if transcends you or can have transcendent qualities because it demands that you align with something that's not your small, limited person, perhaps. If there are principles that demand that you're not committed to that. Now, there are other principles that are already in action that allow for the creation of a small, limited person within your head, and you're already aligned with those. Or like Peter would write in his books, it's like we are within the principle of self-survival. Like that is what dominates everything already. The life principle or life. You see, the fact that you see and hear and relate to everything, and you're in a world of objects inside a body as if like this is the principle that he's talking about. It's life. It's basically life. You see, we're in life. And there is a principle that generates this as if. And within this, we can do stuff. We can align with gravity. You can align with principles that allow you to be wealthy, create business, if you discover what those are. You can align with principles that allow for education. You can align with principles that allow for, being skillful with your body. There's all kinds of things you can do. And And again, the main power it's not about you. And so for those of you who are watching these videos and you're looking for a little something more in life, I would invite you to consider that principles may be a place for you to find this kind of stuff that you're like, if you want more. Because the principles are the things that kick ass. Honesty, for example, integrity, keeping your word, clarity as a principle, effectiveness as a principle. See, if you align with effectiveness as a principle, guess what? It demands that you're effective. Voila. You want something in life? You want to accomplish something? There you go. You see, and it demands that you get over every obstacle that you have personally to being effective in order to do it. Because if you align with the principle, then you must take those actions. Otherwise, you are not aligned with that principle. You see, it's like they work together. You cannot recognize the principle without the form in which it shows up. Yeah. So that's from a book by Shozan Shisai that Peter's very fond of, and I've heard about it. The principle is without form. Without the form, the principle is unrecognizable. It's true. Who knew? Pretty interesting stuff. Okay? So there's that. And the last thing here is I am not trying to tell you the right way to live your life. Okay? In terms of principles, you can either align with them or not. It's up to you. Because I want to go against or clear the air of any stuff where you're thinking that I want to tell you how to live your life. No, your life is yours to figure out on your own. I want to open a door for you so that if you want to have some power or discover something new, that you can go do that. And that's on you. Okay? So there you go. Just want to open you some doors. You're welcome to go through them or not. And I think there's some really fascinating stuff available. You just have to be able to go take a look and then take action on that. All right? So that's my video on principles for your consideration. Go out there and kick some ass. You live your life the way you want. If you want to get a little bit serious, I have a free course. I built it so that I can get your email and then invite you to more stuff like workshops and other things. So please check the links in the description. I've got a paid course, etc. My name is Brendan Lee. I'm with thebrendonlee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide, which is founded by Peter Ralston. Till next time, and catch you later. Feel free to write me any questions and considerations you have about my material because that's what helps me create more. All right, much love. Take care. This is Brendan Lee over and out.